This episode is brought to you by the Evansville Podcast Network. Hello and welcome to Evansville Podcast. My name is Jason. Thanks for listening.
Hey there, welcome to the Beyond Repair Show. I'm Laura.
Holy smokes, folks. My name is Josh Pietrowski. I'm a professional brewer and a longtime Evansville native.
What's up, nerds? This is Clockwork Nights, and I am your host, Clark and Osborne,
Evansville Podcast.
And welcome to the Beyond Repair Show.
I'm here with my co-host, Ryan Huff. Ryan, tell me what about you.
My name is Ryan Huff.
nerds.
All right, Evansville Podcast Network. What are we doing?
This is, I think, for me, a lot like... I start talking. I don't even get a sentence into the metaphor, and Clark is crying, laughing. His face is red as a beet.
I can't. I really can't.
All I said is, this is, I think, for me, and he's done. He's done.
I want a shirt that says that too.
Man.
What?
This is, I think, for me.
This is, I think, for me, America's Evansville.
America's Evansville Podcast Network. That's it. The episode is like 29 seconds long.
This is a bad idea.
I think for me, this is like the Avengers done.
Okay.
Like where we have a problem we need to solve that one of us alone can't solve it, so we all have to come together. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's important for us to pick who we think we'd be. I'd be Thor. But it's
Hulk.
Cool.
Aquaman.
You know what you're doing. You know he's not Marvel. He even looked at me like,
Sorry.
Aquaman, was that funny? We're talking comic books. This is serious. This is an Avengers metaphor, and you just ruined it with some DC garbage.
Fine.
I'll let it go. Give me a minute. Clark talk. I need to cool down.
He just crushed his glass.
So, this episode is brought to you by...
Marvel?
America's Evansville and Booker's Burton. So I think it would be it's like the Avengers. So we want to cross promote and help and find other people to do podcasts.
Yep.
And eventually maybe some other different kind of media out there, some alternative media, and team up, because from my career path, which is brewing beer, one of the most fun things about it is the collaborative spirit entirely. Like it's I remember one time we were at this music festival called Cornerstone in, what was it called? Bushnell, Illinois.
Oh, yeah.
And this band that Clark and I just used to love, but now we'd be totally embarrassed for you to know that we love it, called Norma Jean.
I still like him.
He would.
I'm still embarrassed.
He would. Just, can you agree with me for like a minute so I sound backed up here? You're either laughing at me
Dude.
or just changing your mind on me.
Remember how in love we used to be? But I wouldn't admit
With Norma Jean.
that. I didn't.
Them too.
Okay, so there's this band, and they had an old lead singer, and they had a new lead singer, and then there was like their most famous song ever. They had the singer of Me Without You, a band from Tooth and Nail Records, come on and do like a part on that. And we were at Cornerstone, and we were watching Norma Jean play, and not only was the new lead singer singing on the song, when it was time for the Me Without You guy to do his part, like he came out of nowhere. Me Without You wasn't even at Cornerstone, I don't think. Maybe they were, but let's pretend they weren't to make it even more cool.
Yeah.
He comes out and he starts doing this part, and then the original singer, Norma Jean, came out for the end, and they were all three doing it together, singing. And I remember thinking this is the coolest thing. Like, all these people are out here doing this at the same time. I think there's one or two times that Mumford and Sons, Old Crow Medicine Show, and the Avett Brothers have been on the road together, and they close the show out with like all 27 of them. See, as soon as I get away from I got to Mumford and Sons, and Jason's like, I'm old and white, I know them. They're the young men who moan in harmony. But all 27 of them, all 27 were on the same stage at the same time and playing songs, each other's songs. It was the coolest thing in the world to see that. And I think while we're not Avett Brothers or Norma Jean or the guy from Me Without You, or I'm not really Thor. I look just like the guy who plays Thor, but I'm not really Thor.
I'm going to stop you right there.
Oh, thank you. But I think that's what this is for podcasts.
Right.
Your producer looks angry.
No, that's just my normal face.
That's just resting face.
This is resting.
It's my
My
parenting
goal
face.
is just to have people in Evansville know what a podcast is. That'd be great.
That could be like our Loki. Mm-hmm. Loki was the threat that the Avengers had to come together to tackle. That one of them can do alone, but we can
Ignorance.
we can do it together.
Ignorance is Loki. Yes.
Knowledge is power.
That's what Loki backwards is ignorance.
I think I went too fast.
Spells was
Kind of like Naomi.
Yeah. So keep drinking. Yeah, I think there's a problem with just awareness in the area, right? So that's the one thing is like you have your audience of sports, and Clark, you have your audience with the music stuff, and then Laura has her audience of women who like
Wanna
to answer
repair.
questions.
I have no idea.
Yeah,
I try not to look at the numbers.
You don't. Yeah, it's.
I listen to it.
Woohoo!
Yeah, I listen to every episode.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah. And then I have whatever that other audience is. And then, so it's like we can reach different people, and that's helpful. And to get the word out, like sharing is caring is a phrase I like to use a lot with podcasts because like we need to get the word out with people because, like you said, nobody knows what a podcast is still.
That's a phrase you like to use?
I do use that phrase not with you because you would judge me on it, but
I am.
yeah, see?
I'm just saying I've lived with you for a couple of years now. I've never heard you use that
I
phrase.
don't use it at home because I don't want to share at home.
How long have you guys been married?
17 years?
You only lived together for a couple of years?
I've known him for a couple of
He
years.
snores that bad?
It's an ongoing thing we do. Or
She stays in the West Wing.
we've been, yeah, we have tall ceilings, so she's up higher.
I float
Yeah, yeah,
like Ghostbusters.
right. It is very much like Ghostbusters.
Or the girl in the Exorcist movie. One of the two.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Here's my take on this. Honestly, I think that podcasts are one of the best ways to advertise your products. For one thing, it stays out there forever. When somebody listens to one podcast and they like it, they will go back through and listen to all of the previous podcasts. So if you have an advertisement on any one of those, it doesn't die. I mean, it's there. People catch it over and over and over again. And with this Alliance network, we have that many more listeners too. So I'm hoping that becomes a thing too, where we find that we have a lot more sponsors and advertising.
Yeah.
Plus, it's integrated. I think podcasts, the best podcasts out there, do a fantastic job of integrating their advertising so it's not even annoying. I mean, you can kind of listen to it and
Yeah.
it's like your friend just kind of telling you, hey, this is this thing I've tried, so I recommend you try it too. So
Right, and that's
it's
something-
a great format for that.
Yeah, I haven't done a lot of sponsors. I know you probably done more sponsors on your podcast than I have on mine.
I mainly get free drinks.
Right, which is a good reason to do anything. But
My eyelids are getting really heavy.
yeah,
Sorry.
we gotta wrap this one. But yeah, I was reading. There was an article today actually that somebody tweeted out on. I think it was Tri-State Better Business Bureau tweeted that out about that people actually like listening to commercials on podcasts because they're more interesting or they're more engaging. or whatever.
It also kind of breaks it up a little bit.
Yeah.
I found with podcasts, one thing I love about podcasts, that I think this is going to help podcasts catch on, is quite honestly, if you're at a job, if you work a job where you can have an earbud in or have like your radio turned down low, like this is literally the closest we're ever going to get to being able to watch TV at work. Like it's audio TV in my ears all day. I'm a sports fan, and I mean I have just this whole gamut of sports podcasts. that I just jam all day while I'm brewing beer. And it's literally, without the screen, it's like I just get paid to brew beer and listen to what I want to listen to. You know?
Right.
Do you remember that episode of Boy Meets World where he gets caught by the teacher? I don't know if it was Feeney or not, but Corey gets caught listening to the Phillies game.
Yes.
In the classroom. That's what it always reminds me of when you talk about that.
Yep, just having your earbud in, catching the game. Or at least during the day, catching people talk about the game.
Right. So back to your Avengers thing. I actually thought about this earlier, and it wasn't the Avengers that came to mind. It was Anchorman. I feel like I'm creating my own Anchorman situation. I've got Champ.
Wow, there's no hilarity in the room currently.
And I got.
I'm Brick.
Well, I was going to say Veronica, but you're acting like a brick right now. And I got the man about town here is Brian Fantana.
I killed a man.
Sex Panther.
He's got the Sex Panther. Yeah. Have you seen Anchorman? Look, dude, I have to ask every time.
I'm not that homeschooled. That came out after homeschool.
60% of the time it works 100% of the time.
Yeah. So yeah, I just after that one time where I made that
it's okay.
Silence of the Lambs joke, and you looked at me like I was insane.
Insane is not the word.
Yeah.
I thought you were something else,
Creepy.
but
I get it.
Did you never
Crazy?
see Silence of the Lambs?
that is also not the word. I've never seen that movie.
You didn't do the normal binge we all did. If you grew up in like a Christian home in the 90s, there was like a hard stop on anything over maybe like PG. If it was a war movie and it was because violence, because like God forbid we see boobs, but we can watch men like stick knives in each other's throats.
Right.
We could do PG-13. So as soon as you get out of the house, you like do this just hard R-rated movie binge. You catch up on history, and you see everything possible. All the stuff you weren't allowed to.
For me, it was just hanging out at Dan Hampton's house.
Yeah, Dean Hampton's, Kevin Hopkins.
That was his ministry.
Yeah, his parents. Yeah. Kevin Hopkins' parents had like a wall of like 1,000 DVDs.
That's where I saw
Godfather.
Yep. In his basement. I think we watched like half that series one Sunday afternoon evening. All of us.
Mike Taylor was asleep the whole time.
Somehow I was awake.
Yeah, Clark was driving past. I was walking, and he rode past it, but he had like somebody in his back seat for some reason. Nobody was in the front seat with him, and I was like, "It was weird." And it was like, I made some joke about it. Puts the lotion on the skin or whatever, and he looked at me like, "What are you talking about?" So I was like, "I don't think he's seen that movie."
Again.
My mind, when you said that, my mind went straight to Driving Miss Daisy.
Yeah. Well, we'd have different perspectives.
Yeah.
Both were basically the same plot. If you saw,
Yeah.
Driving
Okay,
Miss
makes
Daisy.
sense.
So yeah, if you've seen one, you've seen the other.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. I was allowed to watch that one.
Really?
That's funny. I haven't seen that one.
I haven't either.
You never saw Driving Miss Daisy?
No.
I get the point.
Yeah.
He's driving her,
drives
and then
around.
he's like,
You guys probably would have watched if that driver was white, wouldn't you? Just get real. Clark lost it. I'm
Maybe
kidding.
if Daisy
Can
was
I be
black.
honest? Can I be honest?
yeah.
I've never seen Driving Miss Daisy.
Dang.
That was not part of the R-rated binge that I've been on since I was
It wasn't
17
R-rated.
years old.
I mean, if it were R-rated,
That
we
didn't
probably
make
would've-
the list.
No.
It
Must
came on
You've
ABC.
seen Riding Miss Daisy, but not
No, it was Writing to Miss Daisy. It's a little about pen pals.
Oh.
I got you. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's fine. Mute point.
That was that.
Evansville Podcast Network. We're going to see you for 4 hours tonight. This episode's going to be 12 minutes long. 9 minutes is going to be Laura silently laughing. And then the other 3 minutes is just going to be this.
It's basically
Hey, we're drinking and having fun. Like adults.
Yeah. Hey,
Go to bed, kids.
bet you wish you were on our network, huh?
I should have eaten something first.
Anybody want to sponsor this hot mess?
Yeah. Brought to you by Hot Mess. Yeah. But anyways, yeah, I thought Anchorman, but because I was like, I want to be Ron Burgundy, basically. But
Was
that's
it
just me? But I don't have a weatherman, so we need a weather podcast.
Ryan, my co-host.
Does he like the weather?
He could totally be. He could totally be the weatherman.
Cool.
He loves weather.
Sweet.
It's his favorite thing.
Like putting mayonnaise in toasters. Sorry.
I don't think anybody's seen Driving Miss Daisy. Nobody watched that.
Everybody was like, all right, it's in the title. I get it.
Yeah, the plot is in the title.
If you're out there in the car or at work right now and listening and you're like, I've seen Driving Miss Daisy, I never want to meet you. I don't want you rubbing off on me or investing in my wife and my life or our future or anything.
The views of Josh Pietrowski do not represent the views of others.
of America's Evansville Hot Mess Radio. Brought to you by Booker's Bourbon. Where this advertisement's free.
Because why would you pay for this? Oh, gosh. This will be, I think I should learn my lesson about bourbon and podcasts. They do not mix.
No, this is okay.
Every time.
We're having one glass each. Mine gets bigger because the ice,
Yeah. Well,
the ice is melting.
Sure, that's what it was.
Yeah, that's it. It's the ice.
Yeah. Speaking of ice.
Was I not supposed to finish mine this fast?
No. It's a sipper.
I keep taking too big of gulps, and then I have unexpected sounds come out of my mouth.
Yeah. So, like, goals we have are just kind of to spread awareness of podcasting in the area, get other people on the network, hopefully. Not necessarily, like, make a bunch of money off of them, but make a bunch of money in general would be
All
great.
sponsors?
Yeah.
Just enough to quit our jobs.
Yeah, I totally want to quit my job.
I want to exploit all of you for people to find out about me
Sure.
so I can make money off of you while you all exploit me. Everything's getting exploited in America. We might as well, like, get a paycheck.
Right. Yeah, I don't
do
mind
it.
taking money. But also, I feel like we're not going to just say, unless the money's right, I guess. We wouldn't say, like, go to Earl's Pancake Shack, which sounds amazing.
I know, wait. I was like, that sounds awesome right now.
I'm pretty sure that's down the road in Owensboro. A little out of our
They're
range.
going to think we're doing more than just drinking bourbon. You're like, Earl's Pancake Shack. Whoa. With the waffles that are like little
Anyways.
cups for the syrup.
Did you say waffle?
Sounds really good right now.
All right. But anyways,
I lost
it's more
you.
of like,
What was your point?
my point was, like, when we advertise, like, when you advertise a drink, it's not like you're just accepting a drink and you're like, this drink sucks, but I'm going to say it's awesome. Because you can't lie very well.
I'm a terrible liar.
So you actually will say, like, this, Toroni's beer is good, is really good, and please support them because they're doing a good thing.
Charney's is a local legend.
Yeah.
I have no problem with that.
Right.
Right.
So it's just things like, I don't know. I don't want to say the other media outlets are lying,
A little bit.
but come on.
There is like a thin, like one ply thread of integrity we do have to maintain here, and I guess if we do that through our advertising, then that can cover that base. Because everything else I say is just a sack of hot crap.
But I will say that it would be nice for everybody to be able to hear the other episodes. Like if somebody listens to my stuff but hasn't heard your guys' stuff, like you talked to the Thunderbolts coach and one of the staffers last week. That
Which
was
was
great.
excellent.
That's our
Yeah.
best episode. Yeah, we're really happy with that.
Yeah.
Apologies, everybody. It was a little bit quiet. I'm still working on the overall volume of it.
that
My
was fine.
colleagues disagree, but I was very happy with that episode, and that was the response was great. The support from the community was great, and it's got me all jacked up. We're recording tomorrow night, and we'll be out Wednesday. We're going to try to we'll do a week off every once in a while, but I know that there's tons of people that listen to your guys' podcasts that have no idea about mine, and there's at least a bunch of people last week that listened to my podcast that have no idea about yours.
Right.
We need to help each other kind of get figured out because you did say our goals. Talking about like sponsorships and cross promotion. At the heart of it for me is fun.
Oh, yeah.
I have fun recording it. Podcasts that from other people, from all the way to guys in Detroit talking about the Red Wings to guys from ESPN in Bristol, Connecticut, wherever it is.
Mm-hmm.
They make my day more fun. The same way other things make my day more fun. And this is fun to do. It's fun to release. It's fun to work on. It's fun to listen to. It's fun to work together. Like that's at the core. If I never make a dime off this, that's cool. If I end up moving into your house because I bought it because you're broke and I'm rich, that's cool too. Regardless,
That's
the
fine.
core here, the backbone here.
But you get
is
my kids.
Yeah, no, the backbone here. I have 2 puppies. We'll trade. You have the puppies.
No problem.
Your kids are already pooping in the toilet, right?
Sometimes. A lot.
Well, by the time they'll be. Regardless, the core here, the backbone on this for me is fun, man. Like just enjoyment and fun, and I enjoy all of you as people. Otherwise, I wouldn't want to do all this.
Right. And Clark, your most recent one was the live episode, which was very cool to be, you know, go there, you watch a band perform, you ask them questions. It's like that doesn't happen around here, you know, stuff like that just doesn't happen. So it's a cool, and plus your podcast sounds better than all of ours because you know what you're doing.
Whatever.
But
yeah, just to go off what Josh was saying. Well, no. Head Bassmaster.
Don't you want to come be a part of this, Evansville? America's Evansville?
Best Evansville.
Just what Josh was saying was just the camaraderie, you know, between us podcasters is the thing that I really am looking forward to. Because I remember, what was it, a year and a half ago when I first started talking to you, Jason, was just kind of like, man, I really don't want to start something new if it's going to distract from Evansville Podcast. And so to see how this has kind of come full circle to like, okay, like this is how we've figured out how to do our thing, but yet do it together and make sure that like we're reaching the separate audiences that, but yet also doing that whole crossover thing. And I'm excited about it, you know, like kind of doing it all under one umbrella. So yeah, I don't know.
Because they live out there. They just sort of live out there.
cut her off.
Hey man, we out here. Hey man, we out here.
Take away those LSD gummy bears.
It's out there. No, my point was we're not competing with each other.
No.
Actually, they're addictive when people finally start to listen to
Until
podcasts.
you start getting more downloads than me.
And so then it gets competitive. But they are addictive, and there's the people who like podcasts really like them, and that is like something that
Heroin addicts agree with. They know that feeling.
Exactly. So that's what's really cool too, is because there's not even a threat at all of competition here. It's like when one of us succeeds, everyone does, and that's so cool.
And I think that's a good point because, you know, our city is at
no,
you're good, because our city is at a point where so many people could be competitive if they wanted to be. You know what I mean? Because like there's kind of been a revival of like coming back downtown and building up different communities and whatnot. So it's like if we wanted to go our separate directions, we could. Mm-hmm. But you know, like doing this together under one network I see it as a beneficial thing for sure.
I could also see it as a service to the community, and just follow me down this just rabbit hole here. I'm first of all upset no one caught the heroin cameo I made from the episode of Jason's I listened to today. But
I just listened to that today too.
On a more serious note, that was a yucky thing to say, like yuck, 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 heroin. On a serious note, though, on a serious note, everybody laugh. Bourbon, man.
Bourbon.
Every once in a while, you have this paradigm shift in your understanding and your perspective and your worldview on things. And one thing that episode did, you're still laughing.
Sorry.
I'm vulnerable here.
That's the worst thing you could do.
Don't ever be vulnerable,
she's just excited.
Yeah, she's very happy.
That's it.
I'm being vulnerable.
I'm so happy that you're being vulnerable.
But every once in a while, your perspective on a specific issue or something changes, and that really kind of opened my eyes. Your episode that I listened to today with the lady who helps and assists and aids parents of heroin addicts, which was a very serious episode. It was a very serious topic. I don't mean to make light of it.
No.
I kind of did. It was a jerk thing to do, but I regret it already. But regardless, what that did do for me is it did change my perspective of someone dealing with heroin addiction to just not like thinking they're a piece of trash human that just deserves to curl up in a corner and die because they're killing themselves.
Right. Yeah.
But to actually look into it from like their mother's perspective and be like, that's somebody's kid, that's somebody's lover, that's somebody's best buddy, that's somebody's soccer teammate when they were 10. You know, they're people.
Yeah, that was what caught me, was that they were just kids that started.
Right.
They had a sports injury.
There are probably five guys sitting in a dive bar somewhere who'll tell you he's one of the greatest guys they ever knew. You know, and the thing is, that changed my perspective in a big way on like heroin addicts and drug addicts, meeting them. And with their addiction, and from looking down on them to seeing what they could be or what they were, and to have more of a heart for that. And you know what did that for me? It was a podcast from America's Evansville, this little town in Evansville, and this guy named Jason on a microphone. And I think when you really hit home with it, and not every episode has to be like the season finale Roseanne. But in reality, every once in a while, it's podcasts and media has this ability to transform the way we think, transform our perspective, and it leads us into a person that's better for the people around them. And your podcast did that for me today. I'm not trying to suck up to you. I'm just saying, that's what we can do too. We can help the community that way. And that was a great episode. So, clap for Jason.
Right. Yeah, thanks. No, please remain seated. No, it is interesting. I think it's one of the things that's nice about like all of the episodes or all of the shows that we kind of do is we don't have the famous people or whatever that it's like they're members of the community that we're having on and we're finding out about them, and it's like these are the people we live with, do life with, and it's cool to learn about them, and it makes them more, I don't know, you just like people more. Like I definitely did not care for most people whenever I wasn't doing this podcast. Like people are the worst, to quote Seinfeld. But this is like a lot different now. So I think, bringing up like music, like the music that you cover, Clark, is music I would never have really probably found or listened to, but it's really good music. I really enjoy it, and the people that when you talk to them, it's like the stories they tell. I'm like, man, I wish I would have lived through that with those guys. That sounds amazing. So,
yeah.
So it's cool to, and like when you have people on Beyond Repair, it's like we're finding out things about our friends that we know that we thought we knew.
Well, one of my favorite things about doing this podcast is knowing that somebody might be listening to it and sort of answering the questions in their own head. How would I have answered this particular question? And especially like the hypotheticals and stuff. And it can lead to further conversations down the road too. And I think that's fun. But with you guys, I think it really increases pride in the city. And that is one thing that the city sorely lacks. It is such an underrated town because we're actually pretty stinking awesome. And just to get to know some of the people that are around, and then some of the music that's around, and some of the sports that are around, and to kind of fall in love with your city over again, it can be life-changing for people who already live here to see the town from a different perspective.
I totally agree. And this is coming from someone who's lived somewhere else for a while. There's something about home, and it unfortunately took someone outside of Evansville to remind me that what we have is really great.
It usually happens that way.
Yeah, like I was talking to someone, and I'm not going to mention their name because it'll embarrass them, but there's someone who is close. There's someone
was Chris Ripple.
I don't know who that is, but I'm already laughing.
Neither him or his nation. But it's someone who is very high up in the community who comes from a very really huge town, and a town that's known for any and everything in America. And he just kind of looked at me one night as we were sitting at the Weinbach Chironi's, and he was just like, look, man, you don't realize how good you have it. Like, you guys have, a community here that has so much potential. You don't have like jobs that are just taking you any and everywhere outside of this town. Like, you have things that could be pointed back to your central area, and that's a really good thing. And I don't know, like, it just, there's a lot of other things that he said that night, but just kind of hitting on that whole family aspect. I think there's something about the Midwest that is extremely underrated, and that's dedication. Like, I remember getting up and going to my blue collar coffee barista job at Starbucks between 5 and 5:30 every morning, and driving past all the factories over there on Fulton Avenue and seeing guys with their lunch boxes crossing the street that I saw every day. It was the same, like, 5 guys. And there's this kind of feeling of like, man, like, these guys are dedicated to their jobs. And there's probably a million different reasons why they're dedicated to it, but guarantee is one of those reasons is home, family, and, continuing some kind of legacy from their home or family, So, I don't know.
Well, no matter what your opinion on Evansville is, no matter where you live, deciding to love your community, to love your neighborhood, love your city, and be a part of it is a decision that each person has to make, no matter where they live. And that's one of the things that the podcast can do is you decide that I'm going to get to know my community and I'm going to fall in love with it. And you make that choice to love your city every day. And so the more people who I think are listening to podcasts and getting involved, even making their own podcasts, whatever, but just getting involved in learning about the people who are in their community, talking about the community. I lost my point. Dang it, Burton.
It's about loving your city every day.
Yeah, but it's a choice, because there was a long time where Jason and I had considered moving. We were constantly talking about how we had to get out of this place, and I realized early on that no matter where I moved, I was going to take the same problems with me, and that was me and my attitude. And no matter where I went, every city is really not that different. We have some different resources and stuff, but basically you find, you don't even have to find things that are lovable about your city. You just decide, I'm going to love the city that I'm in, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to participate and make it a great city.
Yeah, I think the thing about moving, there's nothing wrong with moving. People have reasons. There's family reasons, work reasons. If someone offers you double your income to do your same job you love in a place you could deal with for 5 years, move. But for me, it's if you're bored here, if it's like that, I forget who says it. I should remember. I should finally get a tattoo of who this quote is from, because I say it all the time. But if you're bored, you're boring. And the issue with community is you're either giving to it or you're taking from it. And at some point, that community is a product, and you get tired of every product. I get tired of the same brand of craft beer, so I go to a different one or a different style. I get tired of watching the same show all the time, so I won't watch it. There are portions of being the sports guy, there's portions of the baseball season that's so long where I have a Detroit Tigers tattoo on my arm, and I may go 2 weeks without watching a Tigers game because it's a product I get tired of, and then I get back into it. Yeah. I pick it back up. And if all you do is take and consume, that one thing is never going to be enough for you, especially if it's the community. So until you start giving yourself back into it, you're going to be bored anywhere. I covered that with my rant at the end of our last episode. I was like, go to Louisville and get an apartment and sit on your butt and watch Netflix, and then get on Facebook and talk about how Louisville sucks because you plowed through all the seasons of Battlestar Galactica. And now you don't know what to do because they got rid of the BBC show that you thought you were going to watch next, but it's not on there, and your life's terrible. Yeah.
Well, Louisville's terrible then.
Everything's terrible when you watch Battlestar Galactica. I'm kidding. Andy Craven's, I'm kidding. It's a great show. He showed me that show. It's a great show.
Yeah. Never saw one season of it. Didn't take. Sorry, Andy.
We have a shared love for Justified.
Oh,
one of the best written shows of all time. I know it's not a TV. Evidently, it's a TV podcast.
Ooh. Like, don't give away
y'all
don't give away our trade secrets.
Y'all see that episode? It's like 2 minutes every week. It's like, y'all see that episode? It was good. Y'all see that episode? I didn't see it. Y'all see that episode? I didn't see it either. I was at dinner. Y'all see that episode? I thought it was good. And then it's over. Intro, outro.
Okay, I'll just play that on a loop every week. I'll just release that clip.
Can the intro, outro be Angel of Death by Slayer?
Okay.
Every title's different.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oprah Winfrey.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
You get a podcast, and you get a podcast.
Yeah. You don't know how many people have wanted me to talk to them about starting a podcast in this town. It is crazy.
Get
a lot.
Yeah, do it.
Get a crappy microphone and record an episode and sound like an idiot, and then you get better.
Yep.
It's addictive. Like well, everyone that's been on my podcast has started out by saying that they're scared and they don't know, what to do about, like they're just nervous. Doesn't take long, and they won't stop talking. It is awesome to be able to just talk into a microphone and record your thoughts.
Yeah, and then when you hear yourself in like different than normal, and it's like extra bass and stuff, people are like, I like this.
You put it out, you check the stats, you're like 12 people listen to me, or at least the first minute of me, they want to know. Okay.
Yeah, like, sweet. Oh gosh. Do you I had the problem It's not as bad now, but it hit refresh like all the time on the numbers. Like, all right, another one. All right, cool, another one. All right.
I put it out and then I check the next morning, and then I'll check like every day for a couple of days, and I just let it go after that.
Yeah.
So that's about it.
Yeah.
So somebody's listening who wants to start a podcast. What do you tell them?
Do it.
Come be part of our America's network.
Yeah, America's.
Who should they contact? Would you recommend they contact you?
Yeah, actually, we will probably end up putting some resources on our on the website.
She just said stop faffing.
Stop faffing. Stop faffing. I think that stuff like that would be good. A good resource page. We'll probably end up putting that on our America's Evansville's Podcast Network page, whatever that is.
Do they have to apply and we have to all agree?
Oh, if they want to be a part of the network, yeah, we totally have to agree. This is very exclusive.
Unless they pay the $10,000 application fee.
Then we'll let them do a few episodes.
It could be like Tony Cipriani's How to Make the Best Meth podcast, but if they pay the right amount, we're like, welcome to the network.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Would you file it under educational?
Yes. Sponsored by eLuxury.
Right. Yeah. Use offer code Evansville Podcast 10 at checkout.
Sponsored by Sudafed.
Yes. Get that sweet Sudafed money. But yeah, I wanted to make like a resource page because I do get a lot of questions. I don't know if you guys.
So you're talking about a page? Are you talking on the website? Are we going to have a website? Is there a website?
I think we'll have a website. It'll be, what are we calling ourselves? America's Evansville?
The Eternal Word Television Network.
America's Evansville.
The Eternal World Television Network Podcast Network.
Sister Catherine's Purgatory Party.
Right. Yes.
Everybody's just waiting around. Drinking lean.
Well, you broke, Laura. Sorry.
Everybody's just waiting around.
That's what you do in purgatory.
Oh, man.
Oh, gosh. Sorry, Catholics. You know, there's a lot of Catholics. We probably shouldn't talk about them.
My dad's Catholic.
Yeah.
We have a great relationship.
So is Laura's.
I don't know her dad.
I don't know your dad.
I thought maybe there was...
That guy could be a weirdo for all I know.
They should start a podcast.
Got two Catholic dads.
Two Catholic dads.
two Catholic dads and a couple of cats.
I would listen to that. Two Catholic dads.
We're here live on from the vineyard on location. Here, sipping some espresso. It's fair
Surrounded
trade.
by Thomas Kincaid.
Fair trade. We're going to read a book
Greatest
from,
blanket.
We're going to read from the book of Tobin.
Did you say greatest blanket?
What?
I don't think it's...
This episode brought to you by Sudafed and Duracell.
I heard coitus blanket. No.
St. Mary's Coitus Blanket.
I heard Thomas Kincaid coitus blanket.
Today's featured product is a coitus blanket from St. Mary's.
Thomas Kincaid Coitus Blanket. Avoid the light.
Oh, man. Do you ever wish you still had all your teeth?
I have no idea what... I still don't know what you said.
His latest blanket.
Latest, okay.
Thomas
That's what I
Kincaid makes
hope I
blankets?
said. Yeah, man. With all his like paintings that
I
transfer
thought it
over
was the
blankets.
painter of light, not the quilter of light.
No, man. He does blankets too.
quilter of
They
light.
sell like
Quilter,
crazy.
the quilter of light.
Yeah, it's really
The Walmart of art. So far, we have offended Catholics and people who like Thomas Kincaid, which my grandma's dead, so no one is being offended by Thomas Kincaid stuff. Oh. She was the last one, I think.
pretty sure. Shout out to Jamie Newcomb. Sorry.
It looks like there's real light in it.
He has a coitus blanket. Now you stop it.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. Anyways.
So,
So,
what do you guys got going on for your podcast next? Any ideas for your shows? Anything we should be aware about?
Ryan and I are doing a Major League Baseball preview tomorrow night, followed by the next week National Hockey League preview. Baseball's wrapping up for the playoffs, and hockey's about to start, so we're going to be talking about that. One thing that we do like to do on our show, and we've discussed this on our show, so this is for people who don't listen to our show yet, is after we cook down the Sudafed and the Duracell batteries. No, kidding. That's over.
kidding, that's not the order.
That's over. Yeah, clearly, I don't know how to make meth.
Yeah.
So if there's anybody from Vice Unit listening, do not come after us. what we do is when we talk about local sports and national sports, we do it in an educational way. So our MLB preview is not just us being kind of douchey, making predictions and stuff. We actually talk about the season, how it breaks down, how to make the playoffs, how the playoffs work, the schedule. If you're like a Cubs fan that has no idea how baseball works,
That would be me.
a lot of them.
Yeah.
I'm not even a Cardinals fan. I'll just be honest with you. There's a lot of Cubs fans out there. You would listen, and by the end of the episode, you'd be able to go to work and be like, man, that wild card game is going to be crazy because we got to play the winner of it.
I know. I don't think I've hit my couch as much as I've ever hit my couch like I did on Saturday.
Clark's wife, my couch, has been acting up lately.
She's a Russian bride. My couch.
My couch. She's a Cardinals fan, so he has to take it out on her. I mean, you can't bring me anywhere.
Nope.
Oh gosh. And we're recording next month, right? With you on an episode where Clark and I will be on a
Yeah.
sweet.
Awesome.
Yeah, you guys, I'm going to try to have the guys from the You Made It podcast on
Sweet.
as well. And then the guys that just opened Rain Tree Brewing in New Harmony, a couple buddies of mine. So we're going to try to confirm and get them on. So it's just going to be a big old party.
Nice.
Not
I
all-
haven't heard of
altogether.
that. That sounds awesome.
It's going to be yummy. I know they're both big sports fans. I know Casey's. I at least know he's a Bears fan. I don't know much else. And I know Ed is a. Ed, do you remember Ed, the old bartender at Gerst?
Yes.
He's one of my favorite people.
Yeah. I know his brother Brian.
Yep, Ed is one of the coolest people I ever talked to. Like he made me cry one night because you just gave this huge diatribe on how you could be Christian and a socialist because you care about people, and I was just like, oh, because it's what it says. And so he's one of my favorite people. We won't be touching on that. We're a sports podcast, but he'll be on there. He's a talker, but I know he's a Notre Dame fan, and I'm going to love that because they're having a terrible year. Catholics.
Speaking of,
Yeah, we have the two Catholic dads and a couple of cats that have plenty to talk about right now.
yeah.
Their luck is run out.
And
I like it. I'm going to thank you.
There you go.
We were going to act like that didn't happen.
no.
She dropped their luck has run out.
Yeah, there you go.
Thanks.
It doesn't make a slap. They don't know we high five if it doesn't make a slap sound. Here.
Wow. It's the most epic
Ow.
Man.
Awesome.
five ever. Clark, what do you got coming up?
I've got a podcast coming up with three guys who are a little older than me, so they went through the Evansville music scene, specifically hardcore and punk scene, kind of in its prime in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Cool.
Yeah, so we're going to have three of those guys. One of them is Kyle Miller, who does Miller Made.
Yeah.
I know
Awesome
him.
stuff.
Yeah, and then the other two guys are Lee Garnett and
I know him.
Channing Tatum?
I know him.
Chad Zirkelbach.
I know him.
Not Child Zirkelbach.
I've watched Lee sleep before. We used to live together. we were buddies in an apartment buddies. And he would fall asleep. I'd wake up in the morning. I'd walk downstairs and just watch him sleep.
Yeah.
He was precious.
For hours.
Yeah.
No, 45 minutes tops. It was a therapy thing.
Yeah.
The therapist said no more than an hour, so I did 45 minutes.
Right. Hey.
Oh man, yeah. So we got that, and there's this one person in the community that I'm a little like fearful of having on, but I just need to get over it and just contact them because they've been a huge influence on everybody in the community. And then later around, yeah, Mr.
He sings
Winky.
opera.
And then
Not Love Shack.
in November, there's going to be a very special podcast coming up that's going to be talking about Detective Nathan Schroer, who passed away a few years ago, and how he was involved in the music community. So, yeah.
Detective Nathan what?
Schroer.
Schroer?
Yeah, what did he pass?
Cool.
Just cancer?
Leukemia.
Leukemia. That'll be a great episode.
Yeah.
I bet.
Yeah.
All the other ones are garbage. That's going to be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
about
I actually
time.
listened to that one.
Yeah.
And you just
Don't look at me.
We just recorded one with
Heather Vaught,
yeah,
River City Mercantile.
She's
heard of
okay.
her.
She's pretty awesome.
Got a little beef with her, though, from what I hear.
Because
Yeah.
I got her first.
Maybe I have beef with you.
Yeah,
It could be.
Well, you know,
Take it out on me.
All I gotta do is ask, I guess.
Oh, and yeah, because soon she's starting her coffee shop, River City Coffee Shop.
Yep.
Coffee company.
Coffee company. Thank
You know anything about that, Clark?
I do, actually.
Fair enough.
I respond.
I guess I should ask better questions.
Clark, you coffee, yeah,
You coffee.
You've drinking the
I do
coffee, right?
yeah, you coffee.
You know how
Yeah.
to make a cup.
I might.
Okay.
Yeah,
You involved with that at all?
I am. Yeah, so I'll be there on Thursday when it opens up for the soft opening on International Coffee Day.
When this
What
comes
time?
out, this will be yesterday. What you're saying?
7 to 7 is
So yes.
hardly hour.
So yesterday,
Yeah,
come out to the.
Am I invited to the soft opening? Can I go?
absolutely.
Yes,
do.
you should. You
Yeah.
should go.
Yeah, by the time this comes out, River City Coffee Company will be fully open 7 to 7.
I'm gonna have to split my love between that and Wired. Maybe go to Wired in the morning and then that after.
I was thinking we should do a coffee crawl.
Coffee crawl.
We
Dude,
finally have enough awesome coffee places to do a legitimate coffee crawl
I
Thursday.
need to do a coffee crawl.
I'm not running it,
You go.
obviously, but I will have to say that's another thing that's good in Evansville is like the collaboration between Wired, Honeydew, and River City and just
Lucid?
And Lucid, yeah.
Yeah.
And you can't.
So we just hit
Barber
everybody's
Bistro.
Barber Bistro.
Yeah.
Just hit them all. Just hit every single one, like Donut Bank.
Marathon,
Starbucks Green River,
Starbucks Burkhart.
First Avenue, Starbucks inside that Target,
Starbucks
PG.
USA.
PG.
Pita Pit.
The
Wasn't wait.
Toroni's has a coffee machine. You would look like a grade A douchebag if you walk into a brewery and ask for coffee. But we will make you some.
my Keurig in my kitchen.
hey,
You show up, man.
that's what I was gonna say.
You should talk.
We were recording with the Thunderbolts coach last week. You probably heard it on the podcast. At the first break, I was like, "Thanks for listening. We'll be right back." And out of nowhere, he goes, "Meow." For no reason, unprompted. He didn't. I didn't like.
Wait, are you talking?
Yeah.
To, yes, I heard.
Yeah,
that.
I was like, "We'll be right back. We'll be right back after this break with some stuff." I was like, "What? Did you just meow into the mic?"
That was in my left ear, so that was the head coach.
That was the
wasn't
head
it?
coach. Yeah. I have no idea what he's doing. He's going to do that like in the middle. Like it'll be like third period, 4 to 4. He takes a timeout with a minute left, and he's like, "Guys, I'm going to tell you something. This is going to find this 1 minute is going to find the rest of your life. I want you to go out there. I want you to play as a team. I want you to move the puck around. I want you to find the top corner of that. Give it to Cicerelli. Have him put it in the top corner. This moment or the rest of your life. Hands in." Like what? Is that what he does? Is it like a tick?
Yes.
Oh man.
Is he Catholic?
Sharon, you're the love of my life. I can't imagine spending the rest of my time on earth without you, and I just wanted to know if you'd let me be your husband. Meow. What if every important moment of his life he's done that and we're laughing at him?
There are literally dozens of them like that. So you have to be. You can't make fun of it.
Maybe he answered one of those what ifs. Or like,
Oh yeah,
would
and
you
he has
rather?
he has to do that every time.
For the rest of his life?
It's either that or see his best friend murdered. So he's like, I'm going to say
What?
meow every
Guess
time.
I'll meow.
Like it's like a really hardcore version of the game where you show up and whatever you answer, you actually have to commit to the rest of your life. You know, we each get one.
I have to say I commend you because you asked them about the Iceman leaving.
Oh yeah.
And like whenever you asked
Yeah.
them, I was like, man, as a podcaster, you're kind of going out on the line there talking about,
Yeah,
you know.
I was like, oh, they're not coming back.
Some hard hitting stuff. They told me they didn't like craft beer.
Yeah, you had Heather, and we also talked to Mrs. Cravens on Beyond Repair, which hasn't gone out yet, but that will be the
Mara?
next one
Oh,
come
Mar
out.
hasn't gone out yet.
No,
Yes.
that'll be after this goes out. So
Mara Cravens is one of the greatest human beings to ever walk the earth. She and her husband Andy have been, through Abby's and my marriage, have been the most supportive couple and best people. And just if you want to talk about like just really living the way you're supposed to live and treating people the way you're supposed to treat people, they remind me of a young you guys. To be honest, like just
Wow.
there's something about
that's
something about them you want to be around.
high praise for them.
There's nice. No, there's something about them you want to be around. You could be yourself around them.
Yeah, they're pretty great.
Even your bad self, you can let slip every once in a while. It doesn't get weird.
Until Andy cut his hair, and then I was like, I didn't feel comfortable talking to him anymore. But
Yeah, that's not shallow at all. They're great, so I'm excited for that episode.
that's what's so cool is I don't have celebrities or anything like that, but I have legit awesome people, and I
Yep.
love. With the style of a Beyond Repair is sort of like an interview, except I don't interview people. I get to know them as they answer those weird questions. Odd stuff comes up, and you find out more about people than you would normally have found out about them. So I love that. I love when they just, it may take them a couple questions in, but finally they start saying just the most random stuff. I love that.
Oh yeah.
It's just
love that.
cool. Like
You had
they'll have
Heather?
they'll have a story about something, and you'll be like, oh, how do we? I mean, that
You've been
question
engaged
works
3
great,
times?
but like,
What?
we didn't know. I mean, like, it wasn't planned to ask that question. I didn't know that going in. It's like you just told us some amazing story, and we had no
I love
idea
it.
about that.
The beauty of podcasts, the spontaneity. Now, you had Heather, you had Clint. And Clint's story about the guy with the snake tattoo, or
gosh.
the
Yeah.
the guy with the snake.
Yeah.
It was
Can't
unbelievable.
tattoo the-
We know
I
some
can't
pretty
tattoo with
awesome
that
people.
Snake,
Wow.
man.
Though I would put them on the same par. Like they're just an incredible couple of people. Of
A unique couple.
they're very unique. What were you trying to say about tattoos?
No, I'm saying the whole package. There ain't nothing like the Vots.
You
That's just a little tattoo prejudice right now.
You can't assume anything about the Vots.
You can't.
Nope.
Nope.
You can't.
They'll surprise you
They're
every
great.
time. They're awesome. Love them.
They were our Mara and Andy Cravens during our engagement.
Cool.
Yep. She was the maid of honor. Incredible people.
Awesome.
Yep.
It's funny because I don't know how we're all connected with all of our friends. I'm just drawn to certain people, and then I find out later on that they're friends with other people who I'm drawn to. So it's pretty awesome. It's just
It's like
confirmation.
we're all like supposed to be in each other's lives or something. I don't know.
We know some pretty awesome people.
I don't mean to get religious. This isn't 2 Catholic dads and there are 2 cats.
Yeah, we'll save it for that.
Yeah,
But whatever. Yeah.
I feel like
I'm on that
there
show
could be,
next week,
there could be, we could be onto something there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome people.
Jason, what do you have coming up? You haven't talked about
I don't know. This one.
He's quit.
Yeah, I quit. I didn't mean to tell you guys.
Man,
Yeah.
that's rough.
I just today the recording I released a political podcast, which I normally never do politics. I'm what they call a low informed voter usually, but I had a couple guys that are very highly informed, and they came on and talked about it, and we named the podcast episode Trumpster Fire. So I was pretty happy with that.
The debate's on right now. I'd rather be hanging out with you
The
three.
debate is on. Yeah, we're
than those three.
We're gonna
Just whatever
I think
word
we're gonna
you
hit
use
the
for 'em.
people for the debate maybe in a little bit. So because I think that might be an interesting mix. So I saw that they were going to have it on at the volume on. So
Well, I was nervous about you having some political ones earlier during the
Yeah.
primaries, but I thought that the podcast did an excellent job of covering. We had the Republicans, the Democrats, and the independent parties, and I thought they were all super fascinating. I loved hearing from it. I didn't expect to like them as much as I did.
One thing, I know that Evansville is a pretty politically charged climate.
yeah,
It just is. It's Midwest, and we take our values seriously, whether they're progressive or conservative. But I have this firm belief that if you talk to someone from the opposite side of the aisle as you, that is educated and truly cares about other people, not just themselves, if you give them like 5 minutes of your time, they can make a case for their beliefs and why they believe them from their stories and perspective and what's happened to them that will at least make you think before you lay down that night about what they said.
yeah,
Not just a hard stop or a hard no. I mean, there are people on the fringes everywhere. There really are the racists, whether it's veiled racism or just wide out in the open racism, and very greedy people and very rich people with very bad motives that want Trump. And there are some people out there that are so out in left field that there's no sense of morality or no sense of control of anything out there, and those people are going to clash, and that's mostly what you see. But for the most part, like from me being on one side of the aisle pretty harshly, when I talk to someone from the other, that's a good person that is understanding, there's not a single issue, there's not a single problem. We even come to like a few understandings. Actually, that doesn't even happen anymore. They say we've gotten past the whole thing with Native Americans and Mexicans and blacks and gays, and then now I think the quote was that our last great prejudice is people who disagree with us.
And hillbillies.
hillbillies.
yeah. Sorry, hillbilly.
We cover them. That's the racist Trump supporters.
That's our other podcast.
Yeah.
As the Hillbilly Nation.
Hillbilly Nation 2.0. Go Cats! Go Cats!
That's the huge advantage podcasts have over. Stop it. podcasts have over, I think, any other medium is you really get to hear people's heartbeats behind what they believe and why they believe it. They have time to be articulate and they're thoughtful about it. And you're almost like a captive audience. Obviously, you can turn it off, but thoughtful people will really just hear what people have to say. And it gives you a chance to really digest it and to think about it in a non-confrontational manner. And you can really learn a lot about other people and what they believe. And it can really change some of your attitude towards things. And I think podcasts do that better than just about anything else.
On a very basic level, you're sitting next to the person literally.
Yeah.
You're sharing a communal space and you're sharing a communal conversation. And that does more for a coming together than anything. You know, I was at a bar after work the other day, and we were talking about the whole refugee thing. I mean, to bring that up, but the one point I made to the guy was that your perspective might be a little different if he was sitting next to you having a beer right now.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, yeah, when I get up to go to work, bullets ripping past my head. I was on the way to work, turned left, my dead cousin was in the street, and it's pretty bad. You know, and if he's telling you these stories, and he's telling you about how he works like 17-hour days, and you're like, I work 15-hour days. I hate the man. I'll only buy you a beer. You know, like you're sitting next to someone, sharing a communal environment does so much for it versus, and it does exactly what you're saying. It helps you listen and understand and at least have empathy for it. You know, I mean, and that's what podcasting is. If most people don't realize, we're all in one room at a table looking at each other. We're not on phones. Yeah. Some do phone interviews, which is cool, but we're all here together.
I'd rather do it live.
Right here like this. And that's what you're right, exactly right. That's what podcasts do. They literally bring people together.
Yeah.
And then, and by ripple effect, bring more people together.
And I think about the guests I've already had on, the few guests, like they've already changed my perspective on things, whether it be globally or here in Evansville. You know, and that means a lot to me, you know, as like that's the unexpected thing that you get out of running a podcast, you know, to anyone who's thinking about picking one up or starting one, you know, is like you yourself, you're going to learn more than anybody. You're the one who has to face the answer that you ask, you know, to the question that you ask. And, you know, the last few guests that I've had on have addressed things that I was just like, well, I didn't even know that was really an issue, or if I knew it was an issue, it really drove home the importance of why it was an issue. And that's something I've taken to heart recently is like, man, like even though maybe that wasn't on my radar as, you know, as hot as it should have been, now it is. And now it's making me more flexible, because that's something I think in the last year that's been important to me is one of my best friends told me that, you know, understanding means flexibility. You know, the moment that you go with a bootstrap mentality means that you've got it figured out. It means that you're so stiff-necked that like you're not flexible at all. And it's,
at that point, all there's left to do is just get mad at people who don't see it the way you do,
or it's going to snap.
Yep.
And it just falls apart, and that's not healthy. So yeah, I think, you know, being someone in the shoes of like asking questions and putting people on the spot has helped me be just more understanding with humanity and where we all are. Going back to what we were talking about, the heroin podcast that you did, you know, it makes me realize that that could be any one of us. Any one of us could have had a dad or a mother who turned their backs on us, and, you know, that could have led us down to that path. So it gives me more grace for everyone else. So not to get all deep, but
this is why we do it. This is why we do this. Have conversations like this.
You know,
it starts off with jokes and giggling, and then we kind of come to a place to where we grow at least a little bit for a second. You know, that's why we do this, for fun and for growth and for money.
And I just love hearing people's perspectives on anything. Like my favorite genre of book is autobiographies. And the reason why I prefer that to a biography is I love to hear people's own perspective of how did they see something. Even if it's not at all the way it really happened, I love to hear how someone else saw it. And that fascinates me and so with podcasts, you really get to hear someone else's perspective of something, the way they saw something happen.
What's an autobiography that's like stuck out to you?
Oh my gosh, I've read so many.
Mein Kampf. Two Catholic dads and their cats. Podcast like a champion today.
Oh my gosh. Some of my favorites, like here's one. I read Mike Tyson's, And the whole time I kept thinking, you're crazy, and this may not have been how it happened, but I love to read how you saw it. I'd love to see it through your eyes. Someone else would have told the story completely differently than he did, and it's a really big book. But I loved hearing it from his side.
Probably could not have picked a better example for that.
There you
Mike
go.
Tyson.
One thing that I do a lot of event stuff because people want to talk about their events. It makes sense.
true.
And
Which, by the way,
yeah, no, yeah, no more live podcasts.
Clark's Fest. Brought to you by Clockwork Sound and Clockwork Knives and 2 Catholic dads and their cats.
You have to do Clark's Fest.
they're my main sponsor.
Quit making fun of them, you guys.
Without them, man.
My plan is to every time I reference or just around him, Clockwork Knives or Clockwork Studio, just to always say Clarkwork. Because one of these days he's going to catch himself saying it by accident. He'll be like, yeah, I work for Clarkwork Studio. Wait, what? You get him to do it?
That's awesome. Oh my gosh, Clark's Fest is
Clark's
amazing.
Fest.
But yeah, so we end up doing a lot of things now that we never would have done. We get out, we do things, which normal when we lived in Newburgh, we didn't do anything.
I seriously believe in the value of participation. Whether you like the thing or not, you need to participate, because the more people who participate now, the more opportunities that will show up later on, and eventually it'll be things that you like. So it's all
Yeah.
about participating.
I was like, we were talking the other day, or just this Saturday, I did yoga.
Am I boring you?
Wait, hang on.
Yeah, I know.
Like-
No, hey, it gets better.
You did yoga.
I did
'Cause
yoga.
I knew you knew about the event, but I didn't know
Right.
you were planning
I
to
did
go.
yoga on the third oldest baseball stadium's outfield.
You did yoga on it.
And I did yoga with a 2-time Olympic champion leading. I did that in Evansville. And then I went and ate gourmet pizza a block and a half from my house. Pizza Revolution down at Funk in the City, which I saw hundreds and hundreds of pieces of art, great art, fine art. And it's just like all in Evansville. And that was before 12:30.
And saw the mayor 3 times.
Saw the mayor 3 times.
Then you went to the Stevie Wonder.
Had some awesome coffee at Wired and saw Stevie Wonder tribute night, and
Was
it
he
was
there?
amazing. He was not there. I didn't see him.
He ran an episode.
He didn't see you.
He didn't see me either. Yeah,
He ran into outfit changes.
he probably did. Oh, you're talking about the mayor, not Stevie Wonder.
Yeah. It doesn't make a difference what he wears.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, he didn't see me either. But yeah, it was like it's too bad this isn't a video podcast. That was
No. For our reputations, it's very important
It's very
that it's not a video podcast.
Yeah, but the point is, there's a lot. Like, go back to what you're saying about, like, you know, if you're bored, you're boring, or what? How did you say?
You're
it?
bored, you're boring.
Yeah, you're like, we didn't. There was like a lot of things going on we didn't do that day that we could have easily done, and I did all that with my children as well. They were with me at all of the events. So
Hardly spent any money.
yeah, well, guys,
You guys are just hard selling me here.
I know. So don't move away is what I'm telling you.
I'm not moving. I just bought a big old house. I'm stuck here for the next 10 years of my life.
Yeah, exactly. But my point is, Evansville, it's getting there.
It's all a choice.
It
No matter
really
where you
is.
live.
You are the community. If the
You're
community
the
sucks,
choice.
you suck.
That-
It's you. You are the community.
I have to disagree with you. I think it is there.
Woo, doggy. Hot
Breaking
takes.
news.
Hot takes.
It's just in.
we're,
says.
we're here. We're out here on
Evansville's in.
location at 2 Catholic Dads in the 2 Cat Studio. Clark says
title.
Evansville is here. In the meantime, Jason is somehow doing yoga on Bossy Field.
Yeah, it didn't like it at first, but it finally just let me finish.
Hey, what are you guys doing this Saturday? I'm about to go do yoga all up on Bossy Field's ass.
That was the subtitle of the event.
No, like, I mean, seriously, like, it's there. It's there. Look at us. Like, the 4 of us are hanging out together. It is there. And I think that
That's all it took.
America's Evansville. It is there.
but you think,
Jeez.
forget about it.
Never mind.
It's a finger looking at the map. America's Evansville. It is there.
I love your enthusiasm. I think it's great.
No,
He's not wrong, folks.
Let's wrap it
Let's
up.
talk about podcasts.
So yeah, so thanks everybody. Good job.